Okay, Mr. Austin, you can start now, please.
All right, thank you. Good evening. And this evening, and we just project success. Everything about business analysis, doing it in an organization.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Austin. It appeared as though it's cracking. I don't know if other persons feel the same way.
Hello, let me.
Yeah.
Can you confirm if the crack is still there, or am I flowing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ogeshi has confirmed the crack as well. I think it's a little bit better. So I don't know why, but it was cracking earlier. But you can continue and then we'll
All
see
right.
how it goes.
If you notice it again, please just give me a nudge so that
All right,
I
thank
know
you.
what kind of adjustment I need to make.
Okay.
I said welcome again as we look into business analysis. And the good thing about business analysis is that it can be applied whether it to personal context, organizational context, small scale, medium scale, or large scale enterprise. And they are just basic principles, basic tenets that, if followed, we can build on success and integrate value into the system, into organizations, or into our own lives. And that's why we're just talking about business analysis, the cornerstone of project success. Now, by the end of our presentation today, we'll look at the importance of business analysis in project success. We'll also try to look at identifying and defining business needs and look at business documentation and process modeling. We'll try to cover these aspects in the presentation of today. If you have a question as we go on, we can. I think I'll pause a little, give opportunities for us to ask our questions so that we can make the most of the time, make the most of the moment. Now, I would like this section to be interactive. It's going to be a two-way discussion, so that it's not just me talking, not just me talking alone. I will expect our input as we go alongside. So we're going to start with an icebreaker. Now, let's look at this scenario. And let me just quickly chip in that this scenario is not exactly this scenario, but something like this. I just tried to rephrase it. Something like this came up in one of the interview sections that I attended right in the UK when we attended the business analysis interview, and they gave us a scenario. We were broken into smaller group to discuss, and what would be our discussion? They gave us this scenario, pick up, identify 3 major items that you are going to use to survive in this period, depending when rescue would arrive. Now, let's look at this scenario. Imagine you are stranded on a deserted island with your team, and you must decide on the top 3 business items to bring with you to survive and build sustainable community. Each item must help generate value or solve a critical problem. Now, let's look at the options we have. A solar panel system, a shipment of smartphone, a box of seeds for farming, a stack of business textbooks, a 3D printer, a toolbox with basic tools water purification system, and a set of laptops. Now we need to identify three basic items from this list. Now, in your mind, can you begin to reposition these items and begin to pick them from either the less important to the more important, or pick from the more important to the less important? With that, we begin to prioritize. We begin to identify the basic items we need first, and begin to eliminate the ones we think are not so important for now. So let me give us a 1 or 2 minutes brainstorming time. Let's come up with what we think will be the top 3 in the items to survive this condition. So let's look at it, reposition each of them. Just look at them. Look at them and see which is key, which is important. First 3 as we look ahead. Yes, is anybody in? Is anybody giving a trial as we look at it? Yes, who is helping us?
It's tricky. Is there yes or no answer? Somebody say food is important. I like that question.
So that's good. That's good. So somebody has said now a box of seed for farming. That's what is related to food there now. A box of seed for farming. Yes, one of the important things has been identified. Good. Water purification system. Box for seeds for farming. 2 box with basic tools. That is Akelabi. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yes. 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 Who else again? Who else again?
I think the toolbox will also be important.
What?
The toolbox with basic tools.
Yes. Yes. Akelabi mentioned water purification system, box of seed for farming, which is food. The 2 balls with basic tools. Yes, great. Does anybody have a varied opinion to any of these suggestions? Anybody have any varied opinion to this? Okay. If there is none, now let's look at it together. Let's look at it together. So if we begin to prioritize, now we see that a set of laptop, should it be on top or at the bottom? Just give me T.
Bottom.
Bottom, thank you. A 3D printer, top or bottom? Printer, top or bottom? Bottom, thank you. All right. Textbooks, stack of business textbooks, top or bottom? Bottom, thank you. Now a shipment of smartphones, top or bottom? Shipment of smartphone, top or bottom? Bottom, thank you. Now we've been able to eliminate about 4. So remaining 4. And in the 4 that is remaining, we're now looking at a solar system, a bus of seed for farming. We've also seen a toolbox with basic tools, water purification system. Now, if we want to begin to look, depending on our point of discussion and value, out of these 4, we'll begin to pick and say, why do I need water and food comes first? Because we need the box for seed for farming to have sustainable food source, giving us, enabling a long-term food production. Now, we're not going to be depending on scouting for food or depending on external food now. We'll be able to say, okay, with this, let's see what we can get. And that will give us self-sufficiency and have the potentials to grow crops and have what we need. The next, we need water. Very important. It's a basic necessity to survive. Whether without it, the individual or the business community, we cannot survive. So we need water to survive. And we need good water. So we don't know the environment in the desert. Is it salty water? Is it polluted water? Is the water good enough to drink? If the rain falls, is it what is good enough without being purified? So good decision, value for health and productivity, for scalability, we also need purified water. Good. Now we'll now come to number 3 and number 4. We'll now look at a solar panel system. And we'll also see a toolbox with basic tools. A toolbox with basic tools. Now we'll begin to weigh in the balance here. Which of these do we need to activate? Which of these do we need to activate? The toolbox with basic tools is valuable, very important, but we might decide to replace it with the solar panel system. Why replacing it with the solar panel system? Are there critical infrastructural designs of building we need to make in this deserted land? Are there materials that we will need this tool to use at this deserted land? Are there things that these tools, if we have these tools, the materials are available to use to give us what we need? Or we will need the solar panel system at this point in time that will be able to give us renewable energy, that will be able to, for instance, power our water purification system. Or we need something that we have our smartphone already, that perhaps there is network. Can this solar panel system charge our network, our phones, or our communication gadgets? It's a solar power system, so it depends on it. It will depend on the sun to recharge it. So at certain times, we'll know that our gadgets that is available within our disposal will be used at that time. So we'll now begin to weigh the options now between the solar panel system and the toolbox with basic tools. Which do we now need to complement the third item? So if there are no much materials to use or to build, then there is no need for the basic tools. If there are no materials that we can use the basic tools for, then we do not need it. So at the end of the day, we'll not be able to come out with our preposition to say, looking at this scenario, looking at the condition before us, looking at the situation, what we need, top 3 items are this, this, and this. So by the explanation so far, can we refine our agreements now? Which one do we take as our number 3? Do we take 2 basic tools, or we take the solar panel? Yes, can I get our response? Which do we go for? Basic tool, solar panel. Yes, is anybody there? Can I hear your contribution, or just type in your contribution? You can just put X for solar panel or T for the tools, so that we know that we have agreed on our top 3 items: tools or the solar system. Let's flow, let's go. Okay, Ogechi has said the solar system. One more contribution so that we go ahead. Thank you very much, Akin Labi, the solar system. So we've been able to agree together to say, looking at this scenario, what will give us value for this business is for sustainability, for productivity, and to ensure we get the best, we need the food, we need the water, and we also need the solar system. And that is what we are just talking about in our discussion today as business analysts. Now, what is business analysis? Business analysis is the practice of the practice that identify business needs and determine solution to the problem. That's business analysis. We identify the business needs and provide solution. Provide solution. This is the problem, and this should be the solution. That is business analysis. And it involves not you alone, collaborating with stakeholders, looking at the data that is available to us, analyzing the data. You now begin to make strategic planning, and you'll be able to convince the organization, discuss with the stakeholders, get your business requirement, and say, based on this, and based on this, we have identified the needs of the organization, and we will need to do this as a way forward, providing solution to these problems. That is business analysis. Identifying needs, providing solution. And you do that with, collaborating with stakeholders, looking at the available data that has been provided, looking at documentation, and you also make strategic planning. And this will will ensure value to the organization. That is business analysis. And from the body of knowledge of the business analysis of business analyst. The definition of a business analyst is anybody, any person who can identify needs and provide solution irrespective of the title you are called. Maybe you are a salesman, maybe you are an engineer, maybe you are a lawyer, maybe you are a banker, maybe you are a nurse, maybe you are a doctor. Irrespective of what you are called, can you identify business needs? Have you been able to provide solution and say, if we do it like this and do it like this, we are going to progress, we are going to enhance the business, we are going to increase productivity, we are going to have better output. If you've been able to do any of these, then you are a business analyst. Okay, now let's progress. Let's talk a little on the role of business analysis in project success. For projects to be successful, we need a business analyst to ensure an alignment with the objectives, with the goals of the business. If there are no alignments, if things are not aligned, properly put in place, project fails. And that is why we need business analysts to ensure there is alignment from the beginning to the end of the project. And scope must be defined. Requirements must be defined. I said, this is what we want, and this is what we want to achieve. And with that, we can be able to align the project. Otherwise, the project might start and might not finish because of changing requirements, because of scope being added, changing scope. But with a business analyst, from the beginning, there's alignment, and if there is going to be any change at all, there must be a process for change. And that's what the role of a business analyst in project success. Apart from that, to minimize risk. Because from the beginning, any potential risk will be identified and mitigation will be put in place to ensure that risk are minimized. Why do we need business analysts in project success? Is to improve efficiency. And as we look at the tools for the business analyst, we'll discover that one of the tools that is accessible to us, that we use, is the process flow, the process flow diagram. And with that, you can be able to look at the process and identify where there are deficiencies, identify where there are loopholes, identify where there are potholes that needs to be adjusted, needs to be removed, needs to be amended for the work process to be streamlined. Also, the role of the business analyst is to enhance stakeholder communication. Communication cannot be overemphasized. And to ensure that all the parties understand the project scope and objectives. It is the work of the business analyst to ensure that everyone is carried along, go in the same direction, and ensure that everyone have the same picture of what is to be achieved. Now, before I go further, let me give room. Any question? Any question? Any question? Now, if there is no question, is it clear so far? If it is clear, just give me a C. Just type a C and say clear. If it is clear, I need just a confirmation that we are flowing. Just type clear if it is if we are flowing together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now let's progress. Let's progress. Now, what are the competencies of a business analyst? To be a to operate as a business analyst, what skills do I really need to have? What are my competencies? Now we have the behavioral skills, characteristics, which has to do with our ethics, our personal accountability, our trustworthiness, time management, organizational skills, adaptability. These are just behavioral skills that has to do with our behaviors. And it's not what we'll teach as we are teaching Power BI or teaching Excel. These are things that are developed based on our behavior, your trustworthiness, time management. How do you organize your organizational skills, personal accountability? If you say yes, I'm coming, do you really come at that time? Behavioral skills, they are key as part of our competence as a business analyst. Also, to be effective, we need to have technical skills. And when we're talking about technical skills here, we'll be talking about some of the tools we use, tools and the technologies for identifying business needs and problems. We need to know some of these tools. We need to know them. Common tools. Now they talked about visualization yesterday in Power BI. Know some of these tools. We need to know. I think I'll mention some of the tools as we go alongside. I think in one other slide. But we need to know how to use the Microsoft Excel. Very important. We need to know how to do process modeling. We need to know how to draw, to use it to draw a process flow. And to say we are moving from year to year, just use visualization, basic business notations to visualize what is the travel, the movement of travel is. Just that visualization. We need analytical skills, problem-solving skills, the ability to identify problems, analyze the problem, then solve the problem. That's what happens as a business analyst. You identify the problem, then you begin to analyze the problem. What is the root cause of this problem? And what is the way out? You now bring out the solution. Critical thinking. You now begin to look at multiple aspects of the problem so that you can make an informed decision. You look at the problem from different angles so that when you are making a decision, you have critically analyzed the problem and looking at it from different perspectives. Look at the problem from the perspective of top management. Look at the problem from the perspective of the lower workers, and get an holistic view of that problem. Critical thinking. Also, communication skill is very key. We need to communicate very well. And communication has to do with verbal communication, written communication, listening to your stakeholders. If you don't listen, you cannot understand carefully. And you need to listen to be able to ask pertinent questions. So communication skill is very important, very crucial as a business analyst, so that you'll be able to No, to listen, decipher from what they are saying, identify it, document it. You'll be able to communicate to them, and you ask questions. And when you have identified the problem, you present it back to them again. Is this the problem? And they'll be able to say, yes, I think this is the problem. Communication, very key, very important. And as I said before, we cannot do without the technical skills that are very important. And those are some of the things we will learn in-depthly in the training in Telenavis. We'll do things like work with tools like Visio, use with Vigma. We work with project management software like Jira. We'll be able to do process modeling. We can use Lucidad, but basically we can use Figma for our process flow, or use Visio for our process flow. And also, it's very important that we also have at least the business knowledge as well. Try to understand the sector you want to work. Read about the sector, understand their terminology, understand their language, so that you can be able to present your feedback in the language that is suitable to them. Another important skill that we need as a business analyst is negotiation skill. You must have the ability to mediate between different stakeholders, reach a consensus. You'll be able to get the stakeholders buy-in and negotiate why we need to go in this direction, looking at the resources available to us. Collaboration is key, because we must work effectively across cross-functional teams to be able to get the project success at last. As a business analyst, you'll be working with developers. As a business analyst, you'll be working with testers. As a business analyst, you'll be working with the strategic management team. As a business analyst, you'll be working with various stakeholders, and you'll be able to collaborate and co-create. And these are important skills that we need as business analysts. Now, as we have said before, one of the key things we do in business analysis is to identify business needs. Not just identify the needs alone, we need to define those needs. And the only way we can identify the needs is to do what they call requirement elicitation or requirement gathering. Those are some of the things we do in-depthly when we come into the course. You must be able to engage with your stakeholders, to conduct interviews, to do workshops, to do survey. And we're going to cover a lot of grounds in the requirement elicitation. We should be able to understand what is a business requirement. Business requirement has to do with the statement of goal, the objective, the outcome that the business needs. And from there, we can progress to the stakeholders' requirement. And stakeholders' requirement, or simply put, the user requirement, is what are the things that the user needs to achieve the business requirements. The business have said that we want to increase our branches from 3 branches to 5 branches in the next financial year. That is the business objective requirements. That's the statement of goal. That is the objective. Now, what do the stakeholders need? What do the users need to achieve this? Now we'll begin to do our analysis. Where do we need these 2 additional branches? Where are they? Where are customers that we can set these branches and we have a lot of customers? We will need a branch at point A, and we also need a branch at point C. We'll now begin to break down the business requirement into the user requirement that will achieve the business requirement. Now we'll now begin to talk about the solution requirement. What do I want? What do I want? We'll now begin to describe the capabilities that we need that will suit the user requirements. Now, do we need to we need to rent an office? Do we need to build an office? Do we need to design a website? Do we need to hire more persons? What do we need to achieve this? Now we'll now begin to bring out the solution requirements. So we identify the needs, then we begin to define the needs, and we go into in-depth when we come into some of these courses in lectures in business analysis. And one of the things we need to do is to, as a business analyst, there's a common language for the business analyst, and that is the as is and to be. The as is and to be. As is, what is the current situation? What is the current stage? That is as it is now. You also analyze the future state. As you analyze the current state, the as is, the future state, that's the desired outcome, the as is, you also analyze it, and you also document. You document. You do your documentation, clearly define your needs, write out the business requirement, the stakeholders requirement, that is the user requirement, the solution requirement, also the transition requirement, what we need to do as a stopgap measure as we move from this point to this point. And we do a lot of analysis, do the SWOT analysis, root cause analysis, then stakeholders analysis. Maybe we'll spend some few minutes towards the end of the class to do maybe a SWOT analysis together. Now, we talked about business, we talked about documentation and process modeling. And I would like to say very critically that as business analysts, when we identify needs and provide solutions, they are not just kept in the air. They are not just kept somewhere in a rough paper or on a notepad. They are properly documented. And as a business analyst, one of the things that is common to us as business analysts is to have our business requirement document. And the business requirement document captures all the requirements, low-level requirements, high-level requirements, the functional requirements, the non-functional requirements, and how they will be achieved. Because as a business analyst, you stand as a mediator between the business and the solution providers. And you should be able to clearly document what we needed in a clear terms so that when the solution is provided, it suits the business needs. Other documents that we need to be familiar with, that we also do our documentation, is the business case that justifies the reason for the project. And also the project charter that outlines what are the project objective and the project scope. So once you are a business analyst and you have defined the project needs, for instance, what do we need? We have said, what we need is that we want a functionality that we can sign to our platform with a single sign-on. That is to say, once you sign into the system, the official system of the laptop that day, any other system you want to access should not require password any longer. The same access that you are granted when you log into your system, that same access should also unlock some other programs in your system. And they will now build in a functionality that they call single sign-on. Single sign-on. That as you log in, You will not need to log into another software you want to use in your system. You just a single sign on. My logging into the access should give me access into this other one as well. Not double logging any longer. Now, that is the requirement they have said. We are logging too much. I want to scan this patient. I will log into this again. It takes my time to log in. I want to sign. I want to do this to another patient. I will need to sign, and I'm losing 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Cumulatively, I'm losing close to 1 hour in my 8 hours shift. Now you say, what is the solution? Okay, a single sign-on is okay. So far, you are logged into that system within this period of time, and you do not log out. Once you log in, once you have that gadget, you can continually use it, and you don't need to sign any longer. If you switch again into another program or software within that device, providing the solution, and you define it. Define the goals and the objectives so that when the solution is being provided, is in line with the project scope and objectives. Now, as part of the things we do is to ensure that, as I said before, we need to know how to draw our flow chart. We need to know how to draw the business process model and notation, because before now, different analysts just draw different things with different signs. But there is a standard business process model and notation. So when you see this model, it donates, this symbol represents this. So there are standard models and notation. So when you see a diamond shape, you know that it's asking a question. Is it a yes or a no? Is it a fail or a pass? And you need to loop. You put in your ATM card in the ATM, and you type your password and you say enter. It takes into a diamond shape, a decision shape. Is it correct or not correct? Is the password correct or not correct? Pass or fail? So it's a decision. So if it pass, it goes through another flow. If it is fail, it goes through another fold. So those are some of the notations we will learn, and how to place them, and how to also draw our use case. The essence of all of this is to simplify complex systems, is to make our stakeholders to have a clear, broad understanding. Also, it will enable us to remove bottlenecks from processes, and to also facilitate continuous improvement, because with these diagrams, with these notations, the stakeholders can be able to identify that this is where we have problems. In this circle, this is where we have problems. How can we modify? How can we change the process? Any questions so far? Or are we clear so far? Are we clear so far? Any question? If you have questions, you can ask your question. You can unmute and ask your question. Or if you are clear, you can just type and go on with your C again, clear so far. Or if you are not clear, you can ask your question. Any feedback? Any question? Are we together? Can I get your feedback? Are we clear? Are we clear? Are we clear? Give me a clear if we are clear. If you have a question. Okay, Kes, thanks. Kes said clear, that's okay. Any other confirmation? Thanks, Akimbola. Now, if we are clear, thank you. Now, let's go on to another section. Let's do a SWOT analysis. Let's do a SWOT analysis. I want you to get this picture of this initial icebreaker we did when we started. And we're going to do a SWOT analysis. There are a lot of analysis we do as business analysts. we do personal analysis, we do SWOT analysis, we do stakeholder analysis, we do gap analysis, and a lot of analysis, but they are not complex. They're just simple things, and that makes us to make informed decisions as we go along in the business. But we're going to do a SWOT analysis now. And SWOT, XWOT. So the strengths, talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, talk about the opportunities and the threats. So I'm going to share a whiteboard now. Oh, no, okay, I'll go to the whiteboard and share a SWOT analysis. And I would like you to look at it. Identify one or two strengths from what we are looking at today. Pick up one or two strengths. Looking at this scenario, we need to identify some strengths and as well as some weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now let's go on as we share now. Where's my whiteboard? Yeah, why is my whiteboard? Doesn't want me to. Okay, let me stop sharing.
Share this one first, maybe.
Yeah, let me stop sharing. Okay, it's out now. Okay. Let me come with the SWOT. There are a lot of diagrams we can use. If we have the swim lane diagrams, those are diagrams that we use for our process flow and the rest of that. But today we just these are swim lane diagrams. Let's take the SWOT analysis. No. SWOT. Can we see the board, please?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Now let's start with the strengths. I believe we can still remember the scenario of the icebreaker. If we can still remember that scenario, what strengths did we identify from that? What strength? I want you to look at that scenario. What is the strength? What is the strength? What is the strength? I want you to remember that you are stranded with an island with your team. You are stranded in an island with your team. Now, bring out strength from that. Bring out strength from that. You are stranded with an island in an island with your team. Just type it. You can type if you are with your system on the strength. Go to the strength. Type. Okay, I can see You can type on the strength in the SWOT there on the whiteboard. You can type. I want you to type there. I want you to type inside. If you are with your system, type inside type inside, go to the strength and try to type inside. Those are some of the collaborative things we do when we go into the organization. And when you are doing your stakeholders requirements, we call it interactive boards like this. And you are telling them to impute this, and you come up with something at the end of the day. Thank you very much. I can see Akinlabi. Yes, teamwork. What would, yes, can I have another strength again? Yes. Who is typing now? Let's get another one. As Kes drop the team capabilities. Ogechi, did you identify anyone? Have you dropped it? Teamwork is okay. Team capability. We also don't also forget another strength. There's going to be supply of essential items. 3 items will be supplied. 3 items will be supplied. So that's a strength already. Supply of essential items is also there. Then we're having, remember, different team members. We're having varied skills, different skills as we work together resourcefully. All right, let's go to opportunities now. We have identified the strengths. Based on this scenario, we have picked up 2 strengths, 3 strengths, 4 strengths, 1 strength. Now let's go to the opportunities. Remember the scenario again, and try to look at the opportunities. What opportunities do we have? What are the opportunities we have? Yes. Can somebody drop for us in the opportunities section? Let me see the opportunity. 1 or 2 opportunities. Yes. What are the opportunities? Just type. Yes, provision of food and water. What are the opportunities? The opportunities. What are the opportunities? Opportunities. We need opportunities like collaboration for survivor. You're going to be thinking out of the box. Collaboration for survivor. Opportunities. We're beginning to see innovation. New innovation, because you are in an unusual environment, and you begin to think now, what else can we do? Opportunities, critical thinking will begin to come up and say, and you begin to see the potential to utilize the resources Resources are not wasted. You see, Kes has said new product development. Kes, copy it and drop it inside the opportunities. New product development, copy it, drop it there. If you can, so that it populates in the opportunities column. Okay, thanks. Now, it's right there, opportunities. All right, let's go and let's go to the other part now. We talk about strengths and opportunities. Let's go to the other part of the of the analysis. What are the weaknesses? Can we identify the weaknesses? Yes. What are the weaknesses? Looking at the scenario, there are limitations, there are weaknesses. Thank you. Limited resources. Our resources are not there forever. They are limited. And that's why we had the opportunity that if we don't plant our seeds very well, if we don't innovate very well, we don't maximize very well, we might run out. So the weakness there is that our resources are limited. Yes. Any other weakness? What are the weaknesses? Okay, she said new environment. New environment. What is in the environment that is making it new environment? Is there a threat in this environment? A new environment can be a potential, can be an opportunity. So we need to know what is in the environment, this new environment that is a weakness. Except you are saying that, let's qualify it. Instead of new environment, you can say harsh environment. Harsh environment. It will be better. The weakness is that it's a harsh environment. It's not a productive environment. It's a difficult environment. So that's a weakness. The environment that the policies are not favorable to your production. So if you are, for instance, having let's say you are having let me use which example? Maybe you are having a pig farm, and you are going to open a branch in a center that is mostly dominated by people who don't eat pig. So that's a weakness already, because that environment forbids the eating of pig. So that environment. So in this case, a harsh environment. Good. Do we have a third one? Do we have a third one? A lack of shelter alongside the environment, lack of food, lack of water. Yes. Communication problem. Serious communication issue. You cannot communicate widely with the outside world, and you are confined. That's a serious weakness. And you cannot get info or any other thing. That's a serious weakness. Now let's go to the last one, which is the threat. From the threat, what is the threat in this scenario? What is the threat in this scenario? What is the threat in this scenario? Yes. Can we get like two threats, please? Two threats. Yeah, so it's giving us the threat there. Thank you very much. There could be the risk of wildlife. The risk of wildlife can be beaten with dangerous snakes or attack from wild animals. Yes, weather condition. You could be extreme weather conditions, and when there are no shelters, you know what it will look like. Extreme weather conditions. That's good. There could also be things like starvation. If we get exhausted in our food and our water, there's also the threat of starvation. A threat of starvation. Now, what we have just done together is what we call SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. And as business analysts, we do a lot of analysis. And we do it collaboratively with our stakeholders. We go into sessions and looking at the scenario, looking at the situation, we begin to identify what is our strength as a company, what are our assets, what are the things that we have, and you now begin to say, okay, based on what we have, what are the opportunities before us? With this opportunity, we can grow our earnings. We can grow our customer base. The opportunity before us is that we can reach more brands. We can get more products. The opportunities before us, based on this and this and this and this expertise, we can get this type of things. Now we'll now begin to look at the weaknesses and say, oh, we are lacking in this area is a weakness. We are lacking in this area is a weakness. These tools that we don't have is a weakness. We don't have an online platform. It's a weakness. We identify the weaknesses and we begin to look at the threats. What are the threats? We have competitors outside. They are doing this and doing this. They are going to take more of our customer. We're looking at the threat. The white animals are there. We can be attacked at any time. We're looking at the threat. Government policies. If it changes, is it going to be a threat to this organization? We do all of this holistically. SWOT analysis. We can do gap analysis. We can do personal analysis. We can do our process modeling and everything. These are some of the things we learn as business analysts that will make us to be productive, that will make us to suit into the job market, and also to make us to be productive. So as business analysts, if we learn all of these principles and know all of this analysis, we'll be able to compete and to go all out there to be a business analyst and to drive successful projects. Now that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. If you have any question, you can ask your question.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Has anybody got any question from the session tonight? And can we say some thank you and some nice words to Mr. Austin for the session, please?